step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And welcome to the first ever Behind the Mask podcast. This is an all paintball podcast. We're two old guys that have been playing paintball for, I would say, forever.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah, me. I started in high school also. Actually, my dad was the one that introduced it to me because he was playing it back when they were those little pump guns that they had, or with
the striker or whatever it was called.
Yeah, whatever they were called. He was the one that went out there for the first time back in, I want to say, the 80s. And
the Nell Spot 700, I think.
Yeah, with the nasty oil base.
The oil base.
Yep.
Yeah. For anybody listening, that's a deep cut right there.
Oh yeah, that's you don't want that stuff hitting you. You don't want that shell cut. Oh, it's all bad.
No, deep cut going back into the vaults too.
Oh well, that too. Actually, so just so people don't get confused, with us, yes, there is another podcast out there, and that's called Behind the Bunker. We're called Behind the Mask, and I'll give you guys a little history of Behind the Mask, but really quick. I'm Eugene Lazos, and this is my co-host.
Hey, everyone. Dennis Citron.
And we've known each other for, it feels like ever, and played paintball together. But now for a little history with Behind the Mask. Behind the Mask was actually started with me and a couple other guys, and this was back in 2006. So if anybody catches wind, what was that?
Earlier than that.
No, it was, it was a year prior to that.
It's like 2005 because I still had I just barely got my 03 shocker when I met up with George.
Okay, so back in 05 it was called Sunday Media. 2 years later.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm jumping. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But 2 years later we became Behind the Mask because everybody, couldn't distinguish between Sunday Media and Behind the Mask. So we just said, you know what, we're going to drop it all. We're going to turn ourselves into Behind the Mask. And we were at that time just strictly interviewing teams out on the fields, going and filming teams. We were at a lot of events and it was a lot of fun. So we did that for quite a few years. I want to say up until I actually joined the military. So 2010 was when we finally called it quits.
Yeah.
So quite a few years that we were doing it. Our stuff is still up on YouTube and on Vimeo. So if you guys want to look it up, it's Make It to Sunday was the tag for on Vimeo, and I think it was on YouTube. And
I believe so.
Yeah. And then we took a break. It went dead. And here we are years and years later trying to resurrect this thing because I just got this wild hair up my butt to want to start playing again. And I hit up Dennis and he said, sure. So here we are. And also, so Behind the Bunker, they started, I believe it was back in 2011 from what I read.
Yeah.
I've listened to some of their podcasts, cool guys. Nothing bad to say about them. They're totally sponsored by all the great companies. And they're more of the West Coast or East Coast in Canada. We're over here on the West Coast. So we want to try to pop things off over here on the West Coast and start bringing a lot of the tournaments that are starting to pop off again, bringing them back to life and introduce more stuff out there to you guys and see what we can do with this thing.
I'm on board that hype train.
Heck yeah, dude. So a little history about me. I started playing just like Dennis. We both started playing in high school. I was just doing rec for a while, and then it wasn't till 2000 and I think it was 4 when I met up with Team Keebler at an event and started talking to their team captain, hung out with the whole team. Really cool guys, because they said they needed someone to fill a spot. I said, sure, I'll jump in with you guys, and started playing a little bit of tournament ball with them. Little did I know that the spot that I was filling was for Dennis. And all of a sudden I got told that, by the way, I don't know how this practice is going to go because the guy who you're filling in for is actually coming back. I was like, I didn't know I was filling in for somebody. I thought I was just filling a spot.
Yeah. Not to hijack your story, Eugene, but I did want to interject on that one. So George never actually notified me that I was off the team. I had just missed a couple of events because, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. That's fine. Because that's pretty much that's my story. I mean, I started playing on Keebler. Then me and Dennis took over as the co-captains for the second Keebler team. We did a couple events, and then I started getting into the paintball industry a lot deeper and doing a lot more stuff. Actually, started working at Camp Pendleton Paintball Park and helped to kind of revamp their first park, and then helped a little bit. Well, yeah, it was with Sandy at first, and then I was hired by Sean Walker. And if any of you guys,
FPSL.
If any of you guys out there remember who Sean Walker is, he was head of MPPL. Then MPPL kind of died out, and he started doing XPSL. But he also became the owner of the Camp Pendleton Park. So I was in the industry for a while, then enlisted, and then that's when my story changed to I was dealing with the military, and here I am. So Dennis, what is your story?
So not too far off of yours. I first got my feet wet playing paintball with a buddy of mine from high school who I didn't find this out until sometime later, but he went on to actually play with Cap Factory, which produced the Glaze brothers, Rusty and Gator. He also did play very briefly on the early iterations of the Avalanche team. So he knows a lot of those guys and actually still knows them today. So that's kind of cool. I had a little bit of a secret backdoor connection to that, but tailed off a little bit as high school went by because at that particular point in time, I had aspirations of being a professional hockey player. But, fast forward to 2004, as Eugene said, I was doing a lot of just walk-on speedball and stuff like that with a couple of guys that I had met at my local field, Tombstone Paintball, for anybody listening who remembers Leon Stiles and Tombstone Paintball. But the three of us decided that we wanted to start doing, like the Cal Jam 3-man tournaments and stuff like that. And I mean, we were pretty bad. But, the captain of the Keebler paintball team, he wanted to get more people. There were players kind of coming and going. And so I got a phone call from Brett. Eugene knows who I'm talking about. Another one of our teammates from back then. I was playing with Brett and his son, and they called me one day and said, "Oh yeah, we met up with this guy from Keebler Paintball, and he's looking to bring us on board." And so from there, it was just kind of it seemed like the sky was the limit. We started trying to get a little bit more organized. Everybody had uniforms and stuff like that, and then first time I met Eugene was when they were getting ready to play. Was it MPPL Orange County, the one at the fairgrounds?
Yeah, it was the first. I think it was the first and only Orange County Fairgrounds one that they did.
Yeah.
They brought me in for that.
Yeah, so they had swung by my work. I ended up working in the veterinary field, which I still do today. They swung by my work to pick up my jersey so Eugene could use it. And then, as Eugene said, oh yeah, by the way, he's not actually like leaving the team or anything like that. So. But Eugene and I ended up playing together. I think we finally, I think I left the team just before you did, because I met my now ex-wife, and priorities, man. Like I said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. But I stayed in contact with Eugene because he's my favorite Mexican.
That's not racist because I really am Mexican.
Yeah. But yeah, so he and I ended up staying in close touch, mainly just because we had a lot of common interests away from paintball. And here we are again. As Eugene mentioned, he recently got the itch to want to start playing again. And he told me, "Oh yeah, I've been talking with these guys over at this shop, and I don't want to name drop too much just yet, but talking with these guys over at the shop that I've been going to, and they've got some good deals." And I was looking at it. I said, "You know what? I am my own man and not influenced in any way." And I ended up buying a new marker as well. So
That's because I also said, yeah, and by the way, I just bought a new marker and it's really great. It shoots amazing, and it wasn't that expensive. And he said the same thing. I am my own man. I'm not influenced. Yeah, he bought the same gun, just different colors.
Actually, I found out I didn't get the same one. I got the TP. You got the GS. I got the GS TP. Yeah.
Oh, okay. A little fancier there.
I guess. I don't know if there is a difference or not, but I didn't realize what it was I was buying, but that's okay.
Which
can't take it with you.
Now, so for those of you out there that may hear us, all two of you, we are a little bit behind with our markers, our hoppers, our gear, and we're starting to learn all the new stuff that's out there. So we may have to pause and look something up because we may not know about it, or come back on our next show and talk more about whatever it is that we brought up, because we're going to be learning about new stuff too, and we want to bring you guys all the latest stuff that's going on.
Exactly.
And he said he doesn't want to name drop, but the shop, and I'm going to say this because shoot, I'd love to get them to come on board with us, but the shop that I was going to is A&S. A&S has been around forever.
Yeah, they're an old in the field. Yeah,
and out of a lot of the shops that I used to go to, A&S is the only one that's now continued to stand strong, and they have an amazing shop out in Simi Valley. It's the showroom that's in the front, and then right in behind that thing is their warehouse. And so it's a huge facility. Even their showroom is freaking huge. I love it. I mean, the wall of guns, seeing all those shiny guns up on that wall, I'm like, I want that one.
I'm down now. Take a cold shower, Eugene.
Yeah. Dude, I walked in there and I was like a kid. I was like as giddy as a little schoolgirl. Whew. It was great. But yeah, it's a great shop, and I've now bought my markers from it. I've actually bought so much gear. They have so much of my money. It's not even funny.
I was just on the website before we got started tonight. I've got some knee pads and some pants in the cart right now that I'm debating pulling the trigger on. So,
oh, dude, I'm telling you, when I went in there and I went to go get some new pants because I tried putting on my old Empire pants. Yeah, those things, they don't even fit.
Not gonna happen.
Oh no, I got them like halfway up, and it was like, yeah, these things are not going to go any further than this.
I was just gonna say, was that a whole nother body ago?
Oh yeah, it's sad.
Yeah,
but I went into that shop and I was like, okay, I'm going to get some new pants. And I walk in there, and lo and behold, what do I see? I see HK Army everywhere. So I'm not going to say I don't like them, but at first, when they first came out, they were pretty obnoxious at events. And for those guys,
back in the day, HK were, they had a bit of a cocky reputation. Yeah.
Yeah. And if this gets back to any of the guys at HK, it's not to say that I don't think your stuff is amazing, because now I'm fully from head to toe HK'd out. And I love their stuff.
I mean they have branded really, really well, and they've partnered with manufacturers who they're putting out a really good quality products.
So yeah, their stuff it's quality stuff. I can't deny it in any way. When they first started out, we would see them roll up to an event, and we would have our booth, and we'd see them, and we're just like, these guys are.
Well, at that time, HK was more of it was a mindset. It was an attitude. It wasn't the brand that it is today. So again, by no means are we, casting any kind of, aspersions on them as a brand or anything like that. But they did attract a very kind of a cocky attitude. And unfortunately, what used to be known as the ag baller, that was kind of the style that followed HK around. And I mean, as players, these guys were some of the ballsiest, some of the most, electric players. They had guys under their banner at that time that were they were some of the best. So it's not like they didn't have the skills to back up the attitude, but as being a little bit older, even then, we were in our mid to late 20s and these guys were still in their teens and we were like, I dig these kids,
Yep. And here we are, still older, and now we're dropping our money on them.
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, when I went in there and I was like, what kind of pants? And I picked up a pair of their I think it was their Hostile pants. That thing it may have been an extra large that I got, but it was a design for an extra large that has no butt. None whatsoever. It's like you got to be a 2x4 to fit in that thing.
I mean, in all fairness, most paintball players, at least on the tournament side, tend to live off of, energy drinks and, carbs and sugar. So any body fat generally gets burned off. So no butt makes sense.
This is true. But I took them back and I was talking to John, who's over there at paintball or at A&S paintball. And I was like, dude, these things fit weird. I can't, they may be my size, but they don't fit. Like I bend over and my whole cheeks are like flying out of that thing. And he's all like, well, maybe you want to try these things, the joggers. I'm like, joggers? Who's wearing joggers out in the field? And he's all like, well, cause he's an older guy too. And he's up, everybody's wearing them. I'm like,
yeah.
Really? So I took in a pair of their free line.
Is it the free line or the V2?
Well, no, I took in a pair of their free line because that's what I was also looking at.
Oh, okay.
I took in a pair of the joggers and I put the free lines on and I was all like, man, these things feel bulky and the weighted, because it's got all the same pads that most of our pants from back in the day have, but threw on the joggers. I was like, holy crap, I could actually move. I can breathe. I could bend. I could do everything in these things. So I bought
now which line did you end up getting? I'm looking at A&S right now. I'm looking at the HK pants. So there's like the Hustle Retro. They've got the free line, the V2. And I think they have joggers in each style.
It was... Well, it was just I just saw joggers. I didn't see anything else, but they're really nice. They got the skulls on the side going down, and
okay.
Yeah, they've got reinforced knees, so
I think is that the TRK? Yeah, it's the TRK.
It's the TRKs. Those are exactly what I got. Yeah, it's they're really nice, and then. Asking the same guy, so what do these guys do? Because there's no padding in these things. And he says they throw on the slide shorts, which now a lot of these slide shorts have a lot more pads on it. Throw on the knee pads, and they're good to go. I was like, wow. But the mobility of those things, it's so much better than what it used to be.
Yeah.
So they may look funky to like us older guys, and to the younger guys, they're like, dude, these things are great. They are amazing. I would definitely, for anybody out there, recommend going for those.
Yeah. I'm still a little old school when it came to that stuff. I don't know how I feel about the full-on jogger style, but my own aesthetic outside of, any kind of paintball gear and stuff like that, I always tended to kind of gravitate towards what are now popularized as like, tapered fit, skinny jeans, that type of thing. But for paintball, I always preferred the more baggy style. And so I'm looking at these going, well, maybe if I get the ones that are a little bit more, traditional in their build, but they have the ankles that you can cinch up, maybe that'll, so I don't know. It's a debate. But I've got plenty of time to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You're not in a hurry. I was just... I had the cash and I was like, I want to do this. So I got to go ahead to do it. And I did it.
That steamy check was feeling good in the pocket.
Surprisingly, it wasn't even that. It was not that. I got
That's right. We were talking about that the other day.
I got a little bit of a bonus from my work, so that took care of it. So it was nice. But yeah, so much has changed, and like a lot of the old players that I knew from dealing with Behind the Mask and dealing with Sunday Clothing, some of them are still playing, and some of them have called it quits or just play rec, which is crazy.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, I see them. I mean, they're still very active on their social media, but, like Todd Martinez is pretty much, converted himself to the business side of it. I think he's got stake in a partial ownership or full ownership in a field. I know he's got a couple of different clothing lines. I think he's doing some media as well. I know Matty Marshall hung it up a while ago and is basically just on the media side. But it's weird because these guys have long established themselves as part of the culture, and you always kind of stop and wonder, like, I wonder what these guys are doing now. And they're still going strong. They may not actually be playing. They may not actually be balling on the actual tournament side of things, but they're still going strong. So it's cool. It makes me not feel quite as old.
I just played last weekend, and by
I haven't picked out.
by like 2:00, I was like, whew, I was winded, and my legs were jiggling because it was, from kind of doing the old crotching, and walking and
doing the slab squat.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, oh my gosh. But what's funny is that I was on, I went onto Instagram, and I forgot what I looked up. What got me really going on all this was I forgot what I was looking up, but I saw I was looking something up for paintball because I was just bored, and Infamous came up as one of the feeds, and I was all like, oh man, I remember Infamous. Shoot. So I clicked on Infamous, and I was looking at their pictures, and I scroll through, and I see somebody that I had gotten to know back in the past, and it's been a long time since I talked to the guy, but I'm going to name drop. I don't care. But Thomas Taylor. Thomas, the Troll Taylor, is now on Infamous, and he's probably been out for a while, because back in the day when I knew him and did stuff with him, it was Excessive that he was
Excessive, on. Yeah.
Which I was obsessed with, Excessive. Freaking Maddie. Oh yeah, I mean, you had Maddie, you had Thomas, you had
Rich Telford.
Yeah, Rich.
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba was on there. It had a wealth of talent and experience on that team. It was great,
Yeah. At one time, Excessive was almost like basically an all-star lineup.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was the one that could rival Dynasty
and Iron Man. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
and for a long time, they were basically trading places and on the tops at almost all the tournaments.
Yeah, they were. It was always great to go to the tournaments and watch them play.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, I miss it so much. I miss the MPPL events.
You know what? I have to agree with you. I mean, in the time that we were with Keebler, we did XPSL, we did PSP, we did MPPL. Obviously we did some of the smaller, more local events and things like that. And we hosted a couple of events ourselves that, oddly enough, I came across somebody. I still follow Gary Baum.
Oh yeah.
On Instagram.
I just started following him again too.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while, and somebody had made a mention in the comments on one of his photos about the prizes that they won at one of our Keebler events.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I replied back. I'm like, oh, hey, former Keebler player, we sorry about that, man. We did the best we could. And he was like, hey, no hate, man. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. But getting to know a lot of those guys, you again, you get that nostalgia that I miss it.
Oh yeah. I definitely miss it. I want to, I can't say that I want to start a team. Not saying that I'm going to start a team. I'm not saying I'm starting a team. Just I want to.
Disclaimer
To
the we're not starting a team, but
but I do.
But it would be cool.
Oh yeah,
it would be cool.
Even if it's just to play a few regional little tournaments, I would have a lot of fun with that. I don't need to get into a huge thing, but we do want to promote. So if there's anybody listening, which I know this first one's probably just going to go into the abyss of other podcasts, but if anybody's listening and you want to promote your event, by all means, get in contact with us. I'll have a few things posted up on our little tags where you can get a hold of us. Because as of right now, we don't have anything set up, but we just wanted to do this.
Yeah.
But we will promote your events, especially if you're over here on the West Coast, anywhere up and down the West Coast, even like more of the Central West. We'll promote you guys because we want to handle the West Side. And like I said, the other podcasts, sounds like they got the East Coast locked down and up into Canada. So sweet.
Yeah.
And if they hear about us and want to get, try to team up so we can swap things back and forth, more than happy to do that. Cause we just want to see this sport grow. And I didn't know, which you told me that you knew, but this sport, or at least this, the fields, they closed down for a little bit because of all the nonsense that's going on.
Yeah.
And then they reopened up a couple months after. So
it's not business as usual, but they've been able to thrive for the very fact that it's outdoors. It's, for the most part, a lot of the fields are located in areas where it's a little bit warmer. And as I'm sure everybody's heard, heat kills the virus and so on and so forth. But, you're not in close proximity with people. And so what better way to social distance than to shoot at somebody to keep them away from you?
And plus, we're all wearing masks, so what does it matter?
That too. But yeah, and in fact, it the tournament side of things, obviously took a big hit probably right around 2008 when, we had that big dive in the economy and whatnot like that. But the rec ball and the woods ball scenario paintball all saw, a big boom because, again, what better way to get out even just on a weekend with your buddies and go crawl through the bushes and shoot at each other. And it became, not only more accessible, but I think it became much more popular. So a lot of the companies started, kind of diverting their branding towards that side of things. And for anybody out there who played paintball, regardless of whether you were an avid woods baller or, just a weekend walk on the speedball fields and things like that. Woods ball and rec ball kept this industry alive. And so, you can make fun of the milsim guys and the ones with the ghillie suit and all that, but you know what? You have them to thank for keeping the sport going. So, even if you don't play it in that fashion, even if you're not interested in playing it in that fashion, you think it's goofy or whatever, you should at least give a little bit of a tip of the hat to those guys because they kept it going. And more to the point, as I said, a lot of the companies started changing up their branding towards that to cater to those people who enjoyed playing the more the milsim style or these big game events like they used to have at SC Village and some of the fields throughout the Midwest that, I think it was Battle of Normandy. They had one, stationed after, I should say, styled after Battle of Normandy. They had another one that was like D-Day, things like that. And so, it was nice to see that, they were able to, that the whole sport and the industry was able to come out the other side, very little less worn, I guess, less wear and tear. It was nice though. So yeah, thank you guys for keeping the game going. And then now things have lightened up a little bit. We're starting to see economic growth, and man, I can't even tell you, market technology has gone off in so many different directions. There are markers that are out there, like the Eclipse EMAC, which blows me away. That thing shoots like it's a electronic marker, and it's fully mechanical. So, and Eugene's had a chance to actually fire that one. I haven't tried it yet, but he was telling me that the ropes.
It even without the upgrades, I'm throwing freaking lasers. Not as fast, but I'm still shooting. And I think I'm going to probably do the upgrades maybe next month after I go and waste all my money in Vegas.
So you actually purchased an EMAC then?
Yeah, I actually did.
Oh, I didn't know you actually bought one. I thought you just, I thought you just tried it out.
Oh no, I actually bought one and I was using it out in the field, because the last weekend when I went paintballing, I didn't want to wreck the kids that were coming out. So I was like, you know what? As much as I want to shoot this GS and have fun with it, I was like, you know what? I'm
gonna take it easy on these kids.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that one of the guys that came with us, it was like this whole issue that was going on, that he didn't end up getting a package, but he paid for it. And it was just, we were just like, you know what, we'll figure it out later. But I got this extra gun. So I let him use my EMAC, and I ended up taking out my GS anyways. And I got to feel that thing. And I love that little thing, is freaking amazing. If you guys,
I can't wait for my go live.
Yeah. If you guys want to pick up inexpensive, but good electronic, definitely look into the mini GS by Empire, and I think you'll be very happy with what you purchase. And if you guys want to pick it up, they got a pretty good package going on at A&S of all places, and they've got all kinds of colors. They've got choices. The packages are great. You can get one with a mask, or you can get one with just the hopper, the gun, and
just the rotor and the tank. Yeah, very, very, very nice price point on their packages, and the masks that they're offering are not cheap. One of them is the new, I think it's the EXS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're offering a package with your choice of the color of mask, and you can either get a 45-45 or a 68-45. And
I got the 45-45.
Yeah, and they'll throw in either an Empire 2 or a die rotor. So, I mean, nice little package. Basically gets you set up, right out the door.
Yeah. At a good price too, dude. I'm just,
Oh, great.
I'm telling you guys, I'm loving them. So I hope these guys hear us, because it's like, I'm going to shower as much love on them as possible, because they already got all my money. So, they're going to keep getting more money.
Right.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy. Just where the guns have come from to where they are now is insane.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is like, I mean, marker technology has advanced so much, and it's gone in so many different directions. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because the internal of that freaking EMAC is the same with the Geo. I don't know if you know that. So your internal
part, I've never actually seen the guts of it.
Yeah, you open that thing up, it's the same freaking internals as a Geo minus the electronics. So it's all mechanical.
Gotcha.
So, everybody knows Planet Eclipse, and you all know how good those guns are. So
yeah,
EMAC,
yeah, I was a user for many years.
Yeah, if you want to upgrade from your little spiders or your Titmans or whatever you guys are doing, I would say go for EMAC before you decide to go into like an electronic. Because if you're just going to do rec, they have quite a few like little upgrades for those guns too that make them look all tactical all that stuff. If you guys,
Oh yeah, yeah. You can buy rails for them. They've already got some that with the bodies that are set up to accept, like scopes, tack lights, foregrips, things like that. You can deck these things out to look pretty nasty.
I wouldn't, but yeah, if you guys want to, go for it.
Yeah. Not recommended, but you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the heart, I'm a tournament player. To the core.
Yeah, same. But again,
I'll do rec ball. Paintball's paintball.
Yeah. And that was something that I was touching on earlier, was that, regardless of how, we as tournament players or speedball players in general feel about the rec side and about woods ball, I mean, we owe a lot to those guys for keeping the sport going, when times were a little bit tougher for everybody, because it made it accessible for the guys who still wanted to go out and, shoot people. And, but yeah, I don't think I could ever go back to, crawling through the dirt unless it happened to be behind a corrugated metal tube.
Yeah. If it was like the old Hyperball fields, then I could say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Let's go for it.
The Hyperball fields at both SC and Tombstone. The Hyperball fields were some of my favorites. I remember one. This was just after we started the second Keeler team. So it was, when you and I were handling that side of things. We had finally organized a day at SC Village, and there happened to be some guys from Aftermath and the Bushwalkers were out there. And man, that Hyperball field with those guys out there, it just completely changed everything. I mean, talk about having one or two good players on your squad. It really does make a big difference.
It does. It definitely does.
Seeing some of these guys literally run the tape and just pop 4 or 5 guys as they're making their run and nobody touches them. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Yeah, I tried doing that last weekend. Yeah, it didn't work as well. I got like one.
Yeah, thankfully I was never one to be a showboater. I think the last Huntington Beach we played, because I normally played back corner. I was either left or right back corner, and then as need be, I slotted in midfield. But last Huntington Beach we played, I ended up being one of the last on the field on our side. And I was trying to trade with a guy who was in my mirror. So I was in back right, snake side. That field, the snake was on the right side. I was back right and trying to move my way up. And sure enough, I just said, screw it. So I run tape looking for this guy. Well, I didn't realize he had shifted over to his right. So he was at almost mid center. So as I'm running tape, we trade, and not realizing that I figured match was over because it was he and I. He got a bounce. So he ends up pulling our flag. Yeah. I cried. I cried. And the worst part about it is these guys were below us in the standings. And yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was after that we went and celebrated our defeat at what's that restaurant at the end of the pier?
Ruby's.
There we go.
Yeah, we took over Ruby's Diner.
Yeah, and I snapped my freaking loader on that same game. Actually, I snapped off. But there's proof to those of you guys that are out there listening to us. We are actual players.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know what we're talking about. We've been out on the field. We've played. We know all the positions. We know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but going back to my point in going off on a tangent and telling that story was that, Eugene likes to get that little peanut up under his arm and I just can't do it. So I like the nice 68-45. That's my jam.
I like staying nice and tight.
Well, that's more your style, though. You play midfield. You tend to, or at least did play midfield. You tended to rotate snake side because you were. I don't know. There was something about you had the knack for being able to crawl on your hands and knees and not put your butt up in the air like most people do. So,
yeah, I wasn't going to. I learned very quickly what happens when you stick your butt up.
Yeah, there were numerous times I saw Eugene get keistered. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but when you had me and Dennis in those back corners, we crossed it up and there was no getting past us.
Yeah, we laned pretty well. We did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I'm not one to brag. I'm not one to showboat, but we did. We laned really well. That was something that you and we had a really good communication. Yeah. That I don't think we really had a chance to capitalize on because unfortunately the way the teams broke down in terms of who played on what squad, that was a little, there were some politics there, but honestly, I think that we probably could have done a lot better had we had the lineups dispersed more evenly between the two squads. I think we would have done a lot better. But yeah, you and I would lane really well, and we could lock down really, really well. Yeah, and that was part of the reason why I enjoyed, being on his back corner, because Eugene he could advance enough and kind of clear out mid so that I could move up, and it worked really well.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I could definitely say is that we could communicate without even saying anything. We could watch each other, and it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Good times. So what we are going to say, what I want to say is, let's see, what's our time at? Where are we at? We're coming up on, all right, 8 minutes. Not bad. We're actually in there for an hour, coming up on an hour.
Oh, wow. Has it been an hour already?
Yeah, it definitely has. I know it doesn't feel like it, but when you're into something that you love to talk about, it just flows. It's really
the time definitely flies. Absolutely. And now I'm like, reminiscing again. I'm going to have to go back in. I've got a ton of the pictures from back then on my Facebook that I'm going to have to go back through and look at. I've got, in fact, that story that I told earlier about when I was, at our last Huntington Beach, that was my profile pic for a while. It's of me, tucked in tight on one side of the bunker with remember the classic grip in the front of the gun? Oh, yeah. Wrapping your hand around the front of the gun. Yeah. Got my bandana on.
Oh my God. Dude, I found one of those sandanas.
I was going to ask you what all was still left in there. Eugene has been an amazing friend and has been taking care of my gear for me. So yeah, I cleaned out his bag and took his old E-Tech in to go get that thing fixed at A&S Paintball. I can't wait to see what they do with it, though. That's going to be so amazing. I loved that gun. I loved it so much. It's a good gun. It's just loud. In comparison to the markers nowadays, that thing probably sounds like a cannon. Oh, dude, it sounds like a freaking spider. I'm like, whoa, this thing's loud. But it'll definitely come back really good. Those guys have a good reputation. So I'm bragging about them. So it's just crazy to see where all those stores have gone. My local store, which was AA Paintball for the longest time, went from a big old storage, almost warehouse type. Almost a warehouse, yeah. They had a pretty good location there initially. Yeah, and then now they're down to just something that's I think it's 10 by 20. I'm like, man. It's really small. I know Gateway has done really well for themselves. They've still got 2 locations that, even throughout the pandemic and everything, they've been able to really keep things going, and that's awesome. We know Glenn Takeda over there at Gateway, or we've had some dealings with him. So he may not remember us, but he was a really good guy, and he did work for us in the past. So, congratulations as well. Nobody remembers me.
or even some of the stuff we talk about.
I wouldn't say that. Trying to remember who did it. I don't remember if it might have been Brock, but it might have been Blythe. But Brock, Blythe, and Brian Maffey are all very active they have a Keebler paintball Facebook page.
Still?
Or not a page. No, it's not a page. It's a group. It's a group. But all three of them. And these guys are three of the guys that played with us throughout the time that we were with Keebler. And they're still on there. Blythe still plays to this day. He's, it's stayed very active. Brock is getting back into it, and he's turned into a gun whore. He's got like 4 or 5 markers now. Brian keeps talking about wanting to play, but he kind of went the same direction that I did. He got married. He's got 2 kids, and he's got a great family, but I know he wants to get back out there. So
yeah, I'm kind of becoming a gun whore, so I got to slow it down. So bad. But
it's funny. I think about it, and back when we were still heavily active, I always thought about like, man, it'd be great if I had that marker. It'd be great if I had that marker. But then at the end of the day, I had my 05 Ego, the standard 05 Ego that I absolutely loved. And then I had that E-Tech that was my main marker. I didn't really want for anything else. I mean, I thought about it like, oh man, the newest Ego model would be great. But do I really need it?
No,
probably.
Yeah, that's when I was looking through, and I was like, man, I need to get something new, because I didn't have a single marker. Like I used
markers
that they were all in that one bag that got stolen.
Oh geez, I didn't realize they were all in there.
They were all in one bag, and the whole bag got stolen. So it's like I went from 4 to none.
And none, yeah.
So I was due for a marker. I really
absolutely.
The last time I played, I actually used your E-Tech.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I used your E-Tech. Even then I had kind of tuned it up and it was shooting great. And then just recently I brought it out just to see how it shot at the field. And that's when I saw that it was like firing, it was dropping double balls, barrel breaks. So I was like, yeah, this thing's got to go get tuned up. So that's what I'm doing. But
yeah, no, my problem was never, collecting guns, but I had, I wanted all the jerseys, I wanted all the pants, and so I had a pair of, for those of you, who are old school enough to remember, I had a pair of the original Smart Parts. I had a pair of their pants that were basically Dickies with like gray canvas knees. But those were amazing. And then I had a pair of the original JTs, not the ones like they have now with the big logos on the thighs, but the original ones that they were kind of a heavy duty, a real heavy duty nylon cargo style. I had a pair of those. And then I had a pair of the camo excessives, which were my favorites. And then I had the 2 sets of the Empire gear that we got through Keebler. And so my thing was I wanted gear, I wanted pants, I wanted gloves, I wanted jerseys, and so I had 3 or 4 pairs of gloves. I had a bunch of I had 2 different pairs of cleats. I had the JT cleats, and then I had the dye cleats. I was a little bit of a brand whore, I think.
Oh dude, I still actually have a pair of those excessive pants.
They're not mine though, right?
No. I had a pair. No, I got actually when I was working for, I don't know if anybody knows about him, but Tony Perez, when I was working at Primeline Paintball.
Wait, Tony Perez?
Paintball.
WGP Tony Perez?
Young guy.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Sonny from WGP. Sorry.
Oh, no, not so. No, it was Tony. Tony Perez. He did a lot of great stuff when I was working with him. He was doing a lot of, what do you call it? Clinics down in South America.
Oh, okay.
He had Prime paintball, and it was, there was this like gray box that said Prime on it, but he also sold a lot of paintball gear. So I got a pair of excessive pants from him.
Nice.
And I had like a pair of dye pants.
Oh, I had dyes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 pairs of the Empire. One that was yellow because of Keebler, and then a red pair. And I had several jerseys. I actually still have quite a few jerseys. I was shocked how many I had. And yeah, gloves, elbow pads, all that stuff. I was constantly buying new stuff, and it's like, I don't know why. I have a pair. But we are at our hit time, and we've been reminiscing this whole time, but that's what we were kind of going to do for this first one. We were just kind of rambling because we want to just get it out there and let you guys know who we are, what we've kind of gone through, and we are going to definitely try to bring as much information about new gear as possible, whatever we can find, whatever comes up, and whatever tournaments are coming up, whatever fields are out there. We'll definitely want to promote. So if you got a field, you got an event, definitely hit us up. We are more than happy to just give out the information. No charge, nothing. I mean, right now we just want to get the word out there. The one that I did want to kind of put a shout out for, because I had hit him up on Instagram, which was again Thomas Taylor, and he was the one. I was like, dude, I don't know if you remember me, but it would give him a whole backstory of who I was.
Yeah.
Like, hey, brother. And I was like, cool. You kind of remember me, I guess. And I was like, dude, I want to get out there so bad. And he was the one that kind of nudged me. He's all like, yeah, get out there, dude. Get some new gear. I'm like, oh, yeah. Cool. So I want to promote where he's up in his area. I think it's his field. I got to double check. I don't want to say that for sure, but it's Impact Action Sports, which is up in Oregon. So if you guys are from the Oregon area, definitely go up there, check it out. They've got a lot of cool stuff that goes on there. They also have like a shop, so they have a lot of good gear. Check out their Instagram, which is Impact Action, over there on Instagram. Also, follow Thomas Taylor and check out all the stuff, because he's always got he puts up the live events and talks about a lot of the new gear that's coming out that they've got in their shop and they're selling and everything. So definitely hit them up, check them out, get up to their field. Also for us down in SoCal, we've got, of course, still SC Village is still going strong.
Yep.
Jungle Island.
Jungle. Yes.
I was just there. That's where I was at. That's where I went to go play.
Yeah. And ASG is still open, right?
Yeah. ASG is still open. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because they were just starting out when I was starting to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember they kept asking us to come out there because the field that we were practicing at when we were with Keebler was out in the middle of nowhere in San Jacinto.
Yeah, I wish we would have kind of capitalized on that and jumped on that field. When it was starting out, it was pretty cheap, and plus they were willing to give us a deal. So, but I would definitely go check them out. Also, with ANS kind of promotes 2 fields that are out in the they're off the 5 freeway. They're close to Castaic. I don't know what that area is called, but
Castaic.
It's Castaic. They're not really in Castaic. I think one is, and I forgot where the other one. But they've got Warped, Paintball, and Ambush.
That's right. Warped is out there. I forgot.
Yeah, those 2 fields are still going strong too.
Yeah.
So
that's like Castaic, Saugus, kind of out in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're driving on the 5 freeway going north, going north, you'll definitely see them. You'll see them driving.
Yeah, it's like 5 freeway north, like just past Magic Mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see it right there. It's on the side of the hill.
Yep.
And the other one is kind of on the other side, a little bit further up, but down below. You can't really see that one. But that's where they're at. So definitely, get out there, play. Just play. Regardless of who you are, what you are, get out there and play.
Yeah, skill level aside, it's an absolute blast. You'd be surprised how much at the end of the day you're tired, but it's a good tired, and you've got these stories to trade with your buddies if you happen to go in a group. I can't say enough about how much fun it is, for one, but as corny as it sounds, like the kind of the camaraderie of it and the team building aspects of the sport are second to none. So yeah, as Eugene said, get out there, play. Even if you're out there with nothing but rental gear, give it a shot. You will be pleasantly surprised.
And also now they have the new, I don't know. I can't say it's new. It's new to me, but the paintball guns that are for the kids. So you can get kids younger out there.
Yeah, I want to talk about that on the next episode. We need to touch on that one, because that one is that looks like it could be something cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more information about that, but it's definitely something that's a lot of fun, and it gets kids into the sport that normally wouldn't be able to play it until they're at least 10 years old.
Yeah, I think 10 is the young cutoff. I don't remember.
Yeah, it is. It's still 10. Still 10.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we'll call it a night for this one. Say that this one is now in the can, and nice. We'll definitely get this up as soon as possible. We'll have it up on YouTube for sure as just audio. You don't want to see our old faces just yet.
Not yet.
No, not till we got to do our makeup. Then we'll look all pretty. Yeah. And then we'll actually get it up. I do have a streaming service because I do have another podcast that I do. It's called Geek Saga, and it's all comic book stuff and everything. But we have that up on like Spotify and
low-key plug.
Yeah, but that's where we're also going to get this thing going. Is we're going to try to throw that onto Anchor, which is a streaming service that we're going to use, and that'll get it up on more platforms so you guys could hear about it and spread the word. And we're going to bring back BTM, because that's what our jerseys had on it. It said BTM, which is behind the mask. And I really want to get back to at least talking to teams big and small. I don't care. Back then, our whole thing was, we don't care who you are. We want to just get you out there. And we wanted to grow the sport. So that was the fun thing about it, was I talked to teams that were as big as Impact. And, we had Impact as one of our teams that we kind of sponsored and follow around. And we had all the pro players that we would talk to whenever we went to the events. But we also stopped and took the time to talk to the little guys, the first time teams, the teams that have been in for a while, the guys that didn't get the promotion, that didn't get the pictures. We were the people that went out there and did it for you guys, and wanted to give you guys a bigger experience at these events, because we know how it is. We're small too. We never got huge, but we wanted to make you guys feel like you guys were freaking rock stars. And that's what we're going to do with this. So we definitely want to get the word out there, and, we'd love to get teams on here to talk about their experiences too.
Absolutely.
So, well, I would say this is it. And probably right now we'll probably have music start playing, because I'm going to do some really cool music. But I, again, am Eugene, and my co-host,
Dennis.
And this is Behind the Mask.